this week's edition of Side Splitters. My name is Lyle,
And my name is Andy.
and our goal tonight is to leave you in stitches.
Yeah, and I'm going to cut you off right there before you start anything, before you even begin to talk and interrupt the very important things that I have to say. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I went to a concert over the weekend. It was a 2-day concert I went to, and it was actually called Rock Allegiance, and they had a whole bunch of bands. You know, Avenged Sevenfold, Seven Dust, lots of sevens.
Lots of sevens.
Alice in Chains, Slayer, Anthrax, Offspring, Volbeat, Breaking Benjamin, just to name a few. Anyway, it was a blasty blast. I enjoyed it a lot. I've realized a few things about, getting old. I also
Did you have an adventure of self-discovery?
I did in a sense, and it's not for the same reasons you would imagine. It's not because, okay, so I was the guy a couple times that was just like, can you guys turn that down? That's really loud, But that's just because I do sound for a band now, and doing sound for that band, it's a local band, and I'm just like, I notice certain things when I go to concerts. Like, for example, your bass is way too loud. You have to turn that down. Or your guitar is screaming right now. You can barely hear the drums. Turn that thing down, Or your vocals, I can't hear you at all. Turn the vocals up, something like that. So that kind of stuff I noticed. More importantly, though, I also noticed I think I hate the fans of concerts more than I enjoy concerts nowadays.
Oh no. Oh, so last week when you were ragging on me for being a curmudgeon about the kids going back to school, you were the curmudgeon telling the kids to keep it down at the concert.
It wasn't even just kids, it was everybody. And it wasn't keep it down, but my God, do you guys know what personal space is?
No, because you're supposed to mosh in an Avenged Sevenfold concert.
Absolutely. And when you mosh, that's one thing. But when you are specifically far away from the mosh pits, you because you're old and now you do that and you have to miss a week of work because you're sore for that whole week.
Yeah.
Personal space, it's just, I don't know. And I didn't count the first day because I didn't want to aggravate myself. But the second day, because I brought it up and all the people that were with me thought it would be funny to count along with me and to further aggravate Lyle, I counted 7 different people wearing those stupid fucking cat ears again. Oh God, that was annoying. I was just like, are you kidding me? Here, of all places, it's just, come on, people. Yeah.
I mean, cat ears are kind of endearing. I mean, they're cat ears.
No, I don't like.
No, not at all.
I don't like cat ears. I don't like. You know what? I don't like man buns. I think they're stupid looking. I think people that wear masks at concerts should not even be allowed in, let alone how stupid they are. They look. They should be told.
Well, what about fancy masquerade masks?
Well, it depends on what kind of concert you go to. If you're going to like a My Chemical Romance concert, yes, I think that's like their niche. But if you're going to a Slayer concert, no, you do not wear a mask to a Slayer concert. Like, I've seen people there that were wearing like, they had like the little bandanas covering up their mouth and their nose, like they're little bandits. Knock that shit off. Just fucking grow the fuck up. Take that shit off and get into a real mosh pit. None of this nonsense where you're throwing your fists at the ground like you hate Earth Day or you're trying to pick up quarters or some shit. You're running a circle and you try to knock each other over. That's a mosh pit. Anyway.
I would love to go to a concert with like full like old English regalia. Just be like, I want the top hat, the spats, the tuxedo suit, cane, the monocle.
Funny enough, okay, so I did see some dude wearing a top hat, which was funny. I'm like, what's this guy all about? And he's got like a concert T-shirt on and like spike bracelets and everything, and like just regular old jeans, cowboy boots, and a top hat. It was just a monstrosity of different styles, and it was just like, all right, this guy's kind of weird. Let's avoid that one.
He kind of looks like the ransom letter made out of stuff cut out from a magazine.
Yeah, exactly. I also came across some guy dressed up like Jesus Christ himself.
Oh,
it's fun.
How is he these days?
Oh, he was in a mosh pit. And then we also came across a guy that was dressed up as Santa Claus. And what's interesting about that is, A, it was like 90-degree weather, so good for him.
Yeah, seriously.
And B, I was really, really trying to get the two of them together at the same time in hopes that they would fight. But I could not accomplish this feat. It seemed like they always just missed each other, almost like some sort of weird superhero thing where, Peter Parker, that's so funny. You always show up right as Spider-Man's leaving.
Wait. Oh man. Oh man.
That's what I'm thinking.
Oh, that would just blow my mind.
Wasn't it though? I think Jesus is Santa Claus, guys. Anyway.
Always loving the little children. It makes sense.
It does. It does. Bringing gifts to the good one and punishing the bad ones. It does make sense. Yeah, aside from that, though, there was also Gourmet Man Food is what it was titled as.
That's what I was gonna name my dick.
Yeah, especially the man part.
Gourmet man food. I could only. How much of that was microwavable? Because something called gourmet man food seems like it should go in the microwave at 5 minutes after you poke the film.
I think it was just a fancy way for saying we're gonna have food trucks there, because that's all it was just a bunch of food trucks.
Oh, all right. Well, that makes, I guess, some sense.
And not like the Turkish guy selling falafel on the corner. We're talking like, straight up new modern day hipster food trucks. And I don't give a shit. They were awesome. They were absolutely fantastic. Clearly, I cheated a little bit this weekend.
Clearly. Although, I mean, if you eat a food truck, that's kind of.
I did not eat the food truck itself.
That's above your calorie limit, buddy. I'm sorry to say.
I'm gonna just breeze through the things that I ate. There was this one place called Mama's Balls.
Salty or sweet?
It was a meatball place. And they, at first I'm just like, it's a meatball place. How good can meatballs be? I mean, sure, I've had good meatballs before. I was raised Italian. I have an Italian family, all that. But, how much better can meatballs be? Boy, am I glad I actually tried them. Because I found out a lot, apparently. Because they didn't just make your typical meatballs. They made like, well, for an example, they had this one called a Rocky Balboa. The concert was in like Chester, Pennsylvania, which is just outside Philly, and this place was based out of Philly. So Rocky Balboa, play on Rocky Balboa, obviously. It was pretty awesome. It was like, Italian sausage with peppers and onions all ground up into it and everything, and then it was like filled with mozzarella cheese, and oh my god, it was so good.
You're gonna eat meatballs and crap.
Very nice.
It's over, Rock. You can't take the foot long.
They were just sliders. Meatball sliders.
Like going from one dimension to another, or tiny sandwiches?
So tiny sandwiches.
Oh, all right.
I had 3 of them.
I don't even know who would even get that reference. What the hell am I doing?
All right. You want to talk about it, buddy, or
Sliders?
Was that the name of the movie, or?
It was a TV show. My God, you're killing me.
Yeah. I'm killing you. You literally just put your head in your hands and said, I don't even know who would get that reference.
And you know what? I should have known better, because, man, good on you. You know what? The one guy, I see you back there in the corner laughing to yourself. You know what Sliders is. There's one listener, I'm sure, of this podcast that knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. Well, he got the joke, and he laughed. Continue about your diet cheating.
Well, I guess there's a 2% chance of that one. Anyway, not even going to go into mathematics here.
Sliders would.
Yeah. Yeah, blah, 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 uncultured heathen. I know. I've heard it before. I'm never going to check it out. Okay?
No, honestly, you can live your entire life and not get sliders. Like, that's absolutely
probably
fine.
Going to.
It's not like bringing up Knight Rider to these kids and being like, oh my god, you don't know Kit? You don't know the Hasselhoff? Like,
the Hasselhoff version. Okay, you got to be specific. There was a newer one.
Oh my god, you're right.
What did it last? One season, if that?
If that, I think it got halfway through the season and they realized the magic of a talking car and a man who solves crimes is just not there anymore.
Yeah. So anyway, just to move on a bit here.
Sorry.
No, no, by all means, interrupt away. I know this is boring, but I want to talk about it. So the next, a couple odds and ends thing here. Like, my wife didn't finish this thing that she had called a chicken on a stick, which was basically just boneless chicken thighs with like adobo and sass on it, cooked and put on a teriyaki stick skewer. That was it.
Yeah, I mean, chicken on a stick, it does conjure a specific image of chicken on a stick, and I'm glad that didn't disappoint.
Yeah. So the other place I ate from was this. I don't remember the name of it, but basically it was like a dumpling and egg roll place.
Oh, all
And
right.
I'm like, okay, this sounds awesome. So let me see what they got on the menu here.
Egg
Well,
dumps?
yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but anyway, I think it was like dump roll or dumb roll or dim roll. I don't. Anyway, um, they had. I'm looking down the list of dumplings and I'm like, well, that sounds good. That sounds good. That sounds good. Well, what do I pick? Because they had like bacon cheeseburger dumplings and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my god, all this sounds wonderful.
Does sound wonderful.
And then I'm looking at the other stuff and I'm like, man, that looks good too. Oh, so does that. How do I get all of this? Oh, they have a sampler option. For $20, you get two of each dumpling, one of an egg roll of your choice, and one side of your choice. Now, I'm looking at the dumpling portion, and I'm like, that's awesome. I want two of each one. And then I'm looking at the egg rolls. Well, they only have one available, but I'm not complaining about that one. And the same thing with the side. The side was the best fries you've ever tasted. That's what it was called. And I'm like, I'll be the judge of
Bold
that.
claim.
Yeah, it is a bold claim. And you know what? I gotta be honest. If they weren't, they were damn close to it because my God, these fries were tasty. And I don't know if it's because I haven't had fries in a very long time or what, but damn, they were good.
That might play a role in it, because I'm trying to actually think of the best fries I've ever had, and I actually had to make them. The majority of them, like the base, is from Checkers, because I love Checkers seasoned fries. Um, and then you just add to it. Like, you have Checkers seasoned fries with Wendy's chili, some Velveeta cheese, and bacon bits on it. My God.
Someone had a long week of loneliness where he didn't feel like cooking and decided to put all of his leftovers together.
And you do some strange things to be fed, and at the same time not have an entirely sad meal.
um. So anyway, yeah, they were good. They were like truffle fries, and then they had like some sort of homemade sauce on them. They were really really good. Um.
What made you say?
Yeah, I couldn't even describe it. It was like an orange sauce, and not orange
You
and flavor.
say Would you say it was milky, creamy, somewhat salty, concentrated real hard, could feel wigglers?
No, I wouldn't say it was any of those things.
Oh, all right, because I could have told you what the sauce was.
Let's move on to the egg roll portions of the egg roll. The only egg roll they had available was one that again it did not disappoint. It may have been the highlight of the meal, and that was the 5 cheese macaroni and cheese egg roll.
5 cheese macaroni and cheese.
Yes, it was an egg roll shell, and inside the egg roll shell was simply mac and cheese with 5 different cheeses.
Could you taste the 5 cheeses?
I mean, I'm no cheese master, but it was tasty.
I don't care what it was. Whatever it was artisanal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sit there and go, yes, that one tastes a bit like brie, and oh, there's some nice aged cheddar. What's that? What's
Yeah.
that? Maybe perhaps a nice 92 cheddar. Yes. No, I didn't.
Sharp Cooper, straight out of Arkansas. They are known for their Sharp Cooper cheeses.
Yeah, so I could not pinpoint the 5 cheeses, no, but I did taste an array of cheeses, and it was delicious. So yeah, that was my food adventures. But you know what? And then my wife at one point decided to get fried Oreos, which I decided to not eat because I'm like, that's overdoing it for me.
Yeah, you probably come back from the concert weighing another 10 pounds.
Yeah, I was like, let me leave that one alone. But it just made me realize, like, that was kind of my first real experience with actual food trucks, the way people describe food trucks now. Like I've had, like I said earlier, you go up to a corner of New York City or Philadelphia or something like that, big city, and there's the guy selling like falafel or something like that on a corner, and you get or a hot dog or something like that, you know.
Yeah,
And I've had them before, but I've
or
never had like
prostitutes.
I've never had the food trucks where they sell like mac and cheese egg rolls and bacon cheeseburger dumplings and meatballs made out of Sylvester Stallone. Like I've never had any of that stuff. So it's just like, and it wasn't always a thing. The food truck thing really just recently became super popular. But how do you fare with food trucks and all that? Have you had the experience of them or?
Yeah, only a couple times in my life. I haven't really delved deep into the Alice in Wonderland enigma that is food being served off the back of a car. Um,
Right.
yeah, because that doesn't seem too appealing. Like, I remember as a kid being forced to eat food inside of a truck because we couldn't afford to stop anywhere to eat. So, um, the idea that I would actively seek out food being cooked inside of a truck doesn't sound appetizing at all.
Right.
Um, but I have had a few, and I, hmm, I know that the popular term these days is, God, tapping into that old man terminology.
Yeah.
What you kids call these days those life hacks. Um, but a good tip when eating out of a food truck is if you're eating a sandwich or anything that is, if it's food that comes in between two other pieces of food, so
Okay.
sandwich, taco, burrito, enchilada, whatever.
All right, I'm with
Um,
you.
yeah, whenever you order any of that, um, a lot of places won't charge you extra for it, but get another bun. Like whatever you order, just see if they'll throw in another bun, because food trucks will always pack shit as much as they can to give you, and it's gonna fall out to the point where you're left eating the fillings out of the bottom of your little basket with a fork. So rather than do that, just get the extra bun. You get boom, another sandwich.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, all the time. And even if they do charge you something, it's negligible. It's like a quarter, 50 cents for an extra bun. That's
Yeah.
fine. You're already paying $7 for more than you should be anyway. Um,
Yeah,
Yeah. So as far as food truck experience goes, that's about the most I've had. I remember there being the lonely food truck, because I was at this event, and without sounding too much of a nerd, let's just say it involved collectible card games.
yeah. Let's just say it rhymed with uh Yahajic the Fathering.
Yeah, yeah, it rhymed with all that nonsense. And we were in a convention center and there was no food areas. Like I thought when I was going to the convention center that it was in the middle of nowhere. We had to go down the side street of a side street to get to this quote unquote convention center in North Jersey, somewhere around Iselin or something like that. Um, and it kind of looked like the town was still under construction. It was that bad.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
yeah, yeah. So like I finally get to this place and there's no food, no restaurants anywhere. Like I don't remember even passing a McDonald's or God forbid a Wawa on the way to this place. Um, and between
So, so,
rounds,
so what you're saying there is you had, in fact, not gotten a hand job for your soul that evening.
no, no, my soul was blue balled to death. Um,
Episode 1.
nope,
Check it out, guys. Continue.
yep, check it out. Um, we were told the rumor flying around the nerd pool was that there was supposed to be a
Was
fleet.
that was that a mana pool?
It it was a mana pool.
God forbid there's ever a womana pool in a nerd, convention. Anyway,
Yeah,
done.
a lot of women that were there were against their own will. Or were just borderline men themselves.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Or some other sort of wildebeest. Continue.
yeah, yeah. Oh God, fat squirrels. So we it was rumored that there was supposed to be a fleet of food trucks that was going to be serving people there because I guess being in the middle of nowhere, there was no other food options. They would have made a killing. Only to find out that around meal times, there was a single solitary food truck that decided to park there, and there was like, I wouldn't even call it a line really. It was just like an oval of people standing around in this general area waiting for their chance to get food. And I remember waiting in this thing for like an hour and 20 minutes, and I could see the truck. It was there. It was within view. And then they're like, oh, sorry, we ran out of food. What? No, no, you can't be out of food. I don't want to go back in there. The only thing they have is Ritz crackers and bottles of water, and everything costs $20.
Oh God!
I don't want
to. Go back and get more food.
I'm about to eat the weakest of the herd if you do not bring me a taquito.
And I don't know if you've been paying attention or not, but that means I'm eating that fat squirrel-looking thing over there because she has cat ears on.
Yeah, those are a popular thing. Even the guys wear cat ears at fucking Magic tournaments.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if it's a fat woman that looks like a squirrel and she has cat ears on. Are they now squirrel ears all of a sudden?
To be fair, there are some people that while I do question their gender, I don't make the time to sex them. That would be awkward. That it's like following somebody in the supermarket, like when they're trying to do groceries, and you're kind of like, tailing them like you're like with the FBI, like on a terrorist lead. And by the time they get to the checkout, you just like grab them, turn them around, shake them at the shoulders, and be like, "What are you?
Why are you wearing cat ears?
You're wearing a blouse with jeans. That doesn't fit." You're flat-chested, yet big-bellied. I don't know.
Anyway, speaking of big belly, oh God, Pat, that's taking it back.
Yeah, no, I'm full of obscure reference.
Yeah, that one I got.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. But speaking of fat bellies and food trucks and all that junk, what about like junk food, like stuff on a boardwalk and things of that nature?
Oh my God. Okay, so one of my last trips out to Wildwood, right? I had a very specific list of things to accomplish while at the boardwalk because, growing up in Jersey, like we've done the whole boardwalk thing countless times in our lives.
Sure.
So we got this down to a science. It's not the Shuby method of, oh, look, it's the water. It's my first time seeing it ever. Oh, isn't that quaint? There's shops on a wooden plank that goes all the way down the coastline. Isn't this neat? Oh my God, people, it's a fucking boardwalk. Get over it. Yes, there's going to be animals. Yes, there's going to be sand. Yes, it's going to splinter. That's the whole point. But like, I go there with a specific list. Do this, eat this, go home. And one of the things on my list was that I wanted to get funnel cake because I can't go to the boardwalk without getting it. Because I do love funnel cake, man. That is my bread and deep fried butter.
Sure.
But I remember passing by this one stand, and they had one of those little like newsboy signs out front, and they're like come in and get this fried food, and this is the typical stuff: fried banana, fried candy bar, fried Oreos, fried cannoli. Oh
no.
Oh no.
let me stop you right there. For those of you that don't know, Andy is quite fond of the cannoli.
Yes.
Every time.
Oh, man.
Every time we make dinner plans or something like that, like, hey, you want me to cook dinner for you when you come over, or he'll ask me, and it always becomes a question of, well, what shall we have for dessert? And I'm not much of a dessert person, so I always ask him, well, whatever you want. What do you want? Can you give me some good cannolis? Every time. Continue.
Yeah, I'm not Italian by any stretch of the imagination, or if I am, it's probably just the sausage. But I love cannolis for some reason. And I can't help it. Especially when they get the little chocolate chips in there. Oh, the little chocolate chips. And so, like, when I saw the sign for fried cannoli, I'm like, oh, I have to try this. I have to. So I go up to the guy, and he kind of looked like one of those ethnicities where I had to question whether or not he could understand my order.
You had to question whether or not he could understand your order, or if you were secretly telling him the activation code to blow up the bomb that he had hidden underneath the boardwalk.
Yeah, like I thought maybe he had like I was supposed to give him like tell him that Eddie wanted the extra crunchy, and then he was supposed to get me like this bag of like good weed or something. I don't know. But I ended up ordering this cannoli, and I must have had such enthusiasm in my voice because he kind of had that hesitant like, oh okay, well chill out, dude. Um, it
Nice.
was like, yes, I want your fried cannoli, like
And
you
all of a
know,
sudden he's sitting there like, yeah, yeah, I'm the one that should be a terrorist, right?
yeah, no, because I'm gonna kill a bitch if I didn't get that fried cannoli. That sign made a promise that his ass better cash.
Yeah,
Like, no. Anyway,
yeah, why not?
yeah, why not? So, he's trying to,
People been known to cash promises before.
yeah, I mean, and some of them with an S.
Sure,
It's
why not?
happened. Um, so like, he's trying to keep selling me this other stuff. He's like, oh sure, no problem, fried cannoli. Could I get you a Coke or something to drink? I'm like, no, drink would only slow it down. Um, oh, what about popcorn? Only $1. Like, no, I don't want your damn popcorn. I just want the fried cannoli. Thank you.
Give me the fried wonderfulness,
Yeah.
and that is all.
Listen to me, Habib. Don't fuck with me. I want the fried cannoli. And that is all.
Why is Oh, congratulations, Andy. You just took us back to 1992.
93, that's when Encino Man came out. Um,
Whatever.
no wheezing the juice.
I was thinking more
No.
along the lines of Al Bundy calling people Habib all the time.
Oh, God, my personal hero. Uh,
Right?
such a good show. Such a good character. God bless Ed O'Neill.
Mhm.
So this guy, he takes his cannoli out of the fridge, which I'm like, all right, whatever. And then he like barehanded shoves this thing into funnel cake batter, and
Oh.
didn't put on gloves or nothing. Just here you go, just smother it in funnel cake. And you think somebody would be appalled, but I'm like, I was getting an erection. Like one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. And then he dumps this thing into a basket, and then in the deep fryer, he's still trying to sell me shit. And I'm like, dude, just shut up and give me the cannoli.
Can you give me a second one for half off? Because I'll do that.
Yeah, like I'll lick your hand clean. I'll do it. So he gives me he gets it out of the fryer. He puts it in this little basket, and he sprinkles all this like powdered sugar on it, and he gives it to me. And my brother, who was with me, kept teasing me the entire time because it genuinely looked like a powdered dick. Like, it was extremely phallic looking, and
Oh.
I didn't even care. Especially when I took that first gooey warm bite and got to all that cannoli in the center of it. That cannoli cream, and it had the little chocolate chips. I had the powder running all down the front of me with the cream in either corner of my mouth, and I was in little fat kid heaven
You
to
know,
have this funnel cake batter wrapped cannoli, deep fried and powdered sugared, and oh my god, like I was glad I was wearing swim trunks because I was wet.
that's gross. Anyway, one concern that I would have with that is the gooey center. Was that like molten lava by the time you bit into it? Like I would be concerned that like you bite into it and just immediately burn the hell out of your face.
No, that was weird. The cannoli in the center was like, it was still kind of cold a little bit. So the outside
Really?
was really, really warm, and the inside was like cool, kind of like a frozen treat. Um, which was weird because, I mean, it was a hot day still. So it was actually kind of refreshing. Like, they played with my emotions with the temperature and the crunchy and the gooiness and oh God, the chocolate chips, those little tiny little chocolate chips.
So the chocolate chips, I'm assuming, were still intact, not melted.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, they were not melted at all. They were like little landmines of delight.
Well, that sounds wonderful. So is this definitely something that you would consider like your favorite of all time? Snack food, junk food, whatever.
Yeah, I cannot think of anything that tops that. I mean, oh God. I mean, maple syrup on French fries is really good. Um, Cheez-Its and marshmallow fluff is really good. Pretzels and
Yeah,
ice cream also really good. But
that one
no,
I'll
that
agree with.
hmm?
I said that one I'll agree with. The other ones I've never even thought of, let alone heard of.
The next, I swear to you, do yourself a favor and just embrace that inner fat kid. And the next time you go to a diner, you get the steak fries and like one of the little packets of maple syrup, and you spread the entire packet on those French fries, and it is freaking delicious.
So I don't like pancakes.
I'm not asking you to eat any. I said
I
French
know
fries and maple
that.
syrup.
I know that. Hear me out. I don't like pancakes.
I
And
refuse.
I do like French toast, and I'm okay with waffles. But even still, I don't get those two things often because of the maple syrup and how messy it is. What I'm
How?
getting at here is I'm probably not going to try the French fry thing.
All right. So what about the Cheez-Its and marshmallow fluff?
That is much more reasonable. And I never thought I would say that about a combination such as that. But yeah, I would try that and not hate myself for it until I
Oh, you will. You will.
it,
Halfway through the box, when you realize that you are still eating Cheez-Its and fluffs, you will hate yourself.
Jesus.
Well, I mean, out of curiosity, now that you've essentially like borderline became vegan, uh, what treats do you actually enjoy nowadays that
Okay.
that won't instantly kill you?
I love the fact that you said I became borderline vegan and then immediately followed up with what treats you now enjoy nowadays. Because what's funny about that is there's not much of a difference between what my favorite snack was and what my favorite snack is because I wouldn't say it's my favorite snack in the world, but it's certainly up there, and that is pork rinds.
Oh, oh, I was gonna suggest your wife, but yes, pork rinds are good.
Yeah, pork rinds are great, and
Oh, she won't listen.
Slim Jims. I eat a lot of Slim Jims now as well.
Okay, all right, I can see that.
Specifically, the monster size Slim Jims, Tabasco flavored.
Tabasco flavored?
Oh my God, I don't know what it is, but I am hooked on those things.
Huh. All right.
And as far as the pork rinds go, they don't sell them in large quantities this far north, I guess. You might get like a 99-cent bag here and there at the grocery store. The flavors variety is kind of shitty.
Yeah, it really
However,
is.
um, if you go south, even as south as Maryland, you can get big bags in the grocery stores. Specifically, the grocery store Food Lion carries them. Uh, and as luck would have it, there's a gentleman that works with me, and he comes to our warehouse every Monday. The rest of the week, he is in Maryland. Um, and he's from Maryland. Well, he's not from Maryland, but he lives in Maryland now. He's from this area. Anyway, they have a deal at Food Lion to two bags, big bags of pork rinds for $3. So I have him get me 5 bags of Southern
Wow.
barbecue and 5 bags of salt and pepper pork rinds
Holy shit.
for a total of 10 bags of pork rinds for $15.
Oh my god. So, I'm glad that your heart is still beating. Um, how long does it usually take you to go through 10 bags of pork rinds?
The most it took me was 2 weeks.
Holy shit, dude.
That's the most it took me.
Average?
A week.
Alright.
Yeah, it usually takes me about a week. Uh,
Bag and a half a day. That's pretty good.
well, I mean, yeah, I guess something like that. Because
Bag and
like,
a quarter. But
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. What happens is I'll take one to work with me, and like, so if I don't really eat breakfast, I'm not much of a breakfast person. So at work, I'll do
You
what?
pour pork rinds in a bowl with milk?
Milk's, milk has a lot of carbs in it. No, I have there's a bar that I eat. It's by the company Atkins. They make like a snack bar, like a chocolate thing, or there's several different flavors. But anyway, I'll eat one of those, and they also make a shake, like a milkshake kind of thing. So I'll have one of the bars and one of the shakes for breakfast typically. And sometimes I'll enjoy some pork rinds with that as well. For lunch, I'll have whatever I'm having for lunch, and I'll enjoy some pork rinds with that as well. At like 3 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, I could use something to munch on. Let me take a handful of pork rinds. Oh, look, the bag is either empty or close to, in which case I'll finish the bag, and I go home that night, and maybe I'll have some pork rinds while I'm cooking dinner, or maybe I'll have some after dinner is long done. And I'm done recording the podcast with Andy, and I'm like, now I'm going to settle in and play a wonderful video game and have some pork rinds like a good old PlayStation 1 video game or something like that. Speaking of which, swing bada 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 transition.
Yeah, I was say obvious segues, obvious.
So I've recently decided I am going to download a PlayStation 1 emulator and get some old JRPGs from the PS1 era.
Oh God! All right. So what's on the dock?
So far, the only two I've gotten are two that I've started multiple times and never finished. No, not Final Fantasy VII.
Aw.
Not
One of
yet.
these days you're gonna finish that damn game.
You're absolutely right. One of these days I am going to finish that damn game. It is my white whale, and for those that don't know, I've tried several times to finish that game. I don't know if I've ever told it on the podcast or not, but I've tried several times to play the game and finish it, and would even go as far as making it to the second disc. I don't think I've ever made it to the third one, and something would happen. My save would get corrupted on a memory card uh, several times, or if I got it on an emulator, my hard drive would get wiped for some reason, or I got it on Steam and my hard drive would get wiped for some reason and I didn't save it to the cloud for whatever reason. Just stupid shit always happened to me with that game, and I just kind of gave up and was like, you know what, they're remaking it. I'm going to play it with the remake, and that's it. We'll see how much I like the story once the remake comes out, and then maybe I'll play it again. If I really enjoyed the story, I'll play the original. Um, but the two I have as of right now are Star Ocean, the second story,
Okay.
and Legend of Legaia.
Oh, you had my hopes up there. I thought you were gonna say Legends of Dragoon.
Legends of Dragoon is next because that is a 4-disc game.
Yes, it is. Yes,
So
it is.
I'm starting with Legend of Legaia because it's only 1 disc, and then I'm going to Star Ocean because that's 2 discs. Naturally, Final Fantasy VII being 3 disc would be the next choice, but no, it's not going to be. I'm just going to skip right into Legend of Dragoon. But yeah,
Okay.
that is definitely happening because I loved that game as a kid and never finished it.
I'm in the same boat actually. I loved it and I never finished it. Like I loved the combat system. It was
Oh,
very engaging.
the
Um,
combat system to me reminded me of Super Mario RPG for the
yeah, very much so.
yeah, like the time
Um,
hits and all that. Like that was really cool.
that's actually when the South Park RPG came out.
Yep.
Yeah, that it had very Legend of Dragoon style combat system. I was like, oh, I love it already.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I was with it. The Stick of Truth, for those that don't know what we're talking about, South Park: The Stick of Truth. Um,
Fantastic game.
yeah, I can't wait for the sequel to that. The
For
fractured,
butthole.
yeah, the fractured butthole. But
Oh, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, you funny, funny fuckers.
aside from that, though, I've also been playing an old MMO that we used to play, um, me and a couple other friends of mine. It's called Guild Wars. Now, they've made a Guild Wars 2, and we were super excited about it. And it's just like, oh my god, Guild Wars 2 is coming out. Guild Wars 1 was so epic. I can't wait for Guild Wars 2 to come out. And there was just so many things leading up to it. It's like, oh, that all sounds great. Like, they even did a thing where if you do stuff at Guild Wars 1, some of it will carry over to Guild Wars 2, and you'll get special weapons because of the things that you've done in Guild Wars 1. Like, I don't know, like your old characters were like heroes, and statues were made of them because this is long in the future now. Anyway,
Sounds neat.
yeah, it sounded wonderful. There was a lot of shit that they were talking about that sounded wonderful. We were finally getting a jump button. That was great.
Finally. Oh, all the innovations of modern gaming. Yay, a jump button.
Well, I mean, it was an MMO. There was really no need for a jump button, but WoW had a jump button, and we wanted one. So
Oh, me too.
we finally get Guild Wars 2, and we're all excited, and we pretty much rush through the game to get to our characters to the max level, which was 80. Which, by the way, Guild Wars 1 max level was 20. So to go from 20 to 80, it's like holy shit, we got some shit to do.
Yeah, you do. Shit.
So we get to level 80, all of us, and we're just like, awesome, now let's do some endgame stuff. Where do we find that at? Like, I'm not going to say it was non-existent, but it just wasn't very enticing. Like, there was nothing to it. It was just like, this is kind of hollow feeling. Like, it was there, but once you did it, it was just like, well, now I'm cold and need to be covered with like a nice blanket or something because I don't want to do it again, and I feel kind of dirty for doing it in the first place. I don't know. It was just weird. Uh,
Destiny.
yeah, Destiny, absolutely. I wish I got to end game content in Destiny so I could make fun of it with you, but it was so boring to me I couldn't even max out a character. Anyway, uh,
Yep.
yeah. So I was talking to an old buddy of mine who I work with, and we got to talking about Guild Wars 1, and it was just like, man, do you remember the time when this happened? Yeah, that was cool. Oh, how about this time? And it's like, damn, I've never done that with you guys because I didn't have all the expansions. So he was just like, yeah, this was great because then this happened and you could do this, and then all of a sudden this happened. He was just telling me all kind of shit. This dude put more time into Guild Wars 1 than anyone else I've ever met. Homeboy had 5,000 hours on one character. And
Um, 5,000 hours.
on one character.
Wow.
That's not across his whole account. That's just one character.
Wow.
There's a sad part to this story. Well, I mean, unless you count
I
that.
think you already said the sad part.
Hi, Rob. Anyway,
Damn.
don't talk shitty. Listen to our podcast.
No, I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't even think I've spent 5,000 hours on family, let alone an RPG character.
It gets worse, dude. It's so terrible because he ended up his account got hacked, and some
Aw.
dickhead decided not only am I going to hack your account, but I'm going to delete your character,
Aw.
and I'm going to sell everything that you have,
Aw.
and I'm going to take all the gold from it.
Aw.
His entire account pretty much got wiped,
Oh,
and
God.
that's why he stopped playing the game. So when I was telling him that I was super excited about, possibly looking into replay it or whatever, he was just like, "I'm totally down. Like, when are we doing this?" So, we looked into it. The servers are still online, not as active as they once were, of course, but still
Of course.
incredibly active for as old of a game as it is, especially one that has a sequel out now. They're still pretty damn active servers. So we started playing it, and we've been having a blast with it. And it's not the only game that I played from back in the day, or that I want to go back to from back in the day. Unfortunately, it's the only one that still operates the same, or even still operates at all. You have any games like that, like old MMOs or online games that you would love to play again, but the servers are down or they just don't operate the same or whatever?
Actually, yes. There is an old MMO that I had a ton of fun with that for the life of me, I have no idea why it's even not active anymore. And I had a blast playing it, and I will never, ever, ever be able to play it again. Um, did you ever used to play City of Heroes?
That is really funny. I did not play City of Heroes, but the one game I was referring to that I was saying it's been changed to the point that it's not the same game that I once played is a game called Champions Online. Now, Champions Online, if I'm not mistaken, was made by the same people that made City of Heroes.
Yeah, and it really is not the same. City of Heroes was such a fun RPG.
Well,
It was
here's the thing. Here's the thing with Champions Online. Not to cut you off. I've never played City of Heroes, so I don't know what that was about. But Champions Online, when it first came out, I was in the beta and everything. Like I was so looking forward to this game. Um, coincidentally, it was supposed to be a Marvel MMO, okay, and it just didn't play out in the cards right, and Marvel didn't get, they didn't turn out Marvel. That became Marvel Heroes much later on down the road, which I was also addicted to. I'll touch on that in a bit. Anyway, um, yeah, but Champions Online, like at first you can make your own superhero, and what was awesome about that is it didn't just have to be, I'm going to make Fireman because his only ability is fire. No, I can make Fireman, and I can make him have the ability of force fields, so I can have a big force field shield come up, and I can telepathically shoot mind bullets at people Tenacious D reference, and I can like fly around the city without using any kind of fire powers at all. Like you can make a character with all these different superpowers. That was awesome. And then they made it so that it was free to play and you didn't have to pay monthly anymore. The problem with that is um, now that you don't have to pay monthly, the free to play accounts only are allowed to pick one archetype of character,
Yep.
whereas the people that pay are allowed to pick different archetypes of characters, but they still can't mix them. Because if you could blend them together, I would probably pay to play this damn game. Because I just had so much fun doing that, like just making all kind of different wacky characters and everything. And it was a blast. But anyway, tell me more about City of Heroes.
Well, because like in City of Heroes, that was the thing that I enjoyed making the characters. Like I remember I remember having fun playing like the smallest hero build I could possibly get, which was probably the size of like a 5-year-old. Um, and he was proportionate. It wasn't like Peter Dinklage in spandex. Like it was actually like a proportioned, small person. Um, and I called him Particle Man. You know,
God.
and I remember actually playing one day, and I was going through the city, righting wrongs and doing justice and what have you. And I did come across a guy named Triangle Man, and we did spar for a little bit. And it is indeed true. Triangle Man, we had a fight. Triangle won.
Very nice.
um, but one of my favorite characters to play, honestly, was a character that I based off of my friend Zach, who had a character based off of Santa Claus, and he was Crusher Kringle, and it was this big lumberjack dude with a big white beard and red overalls, and had this big frost axe that had frost powers and super
That's
strength.
fantastic. Crusher Kringle. That's
Crusher
great.
Kringle. Santa the Barbarian.
We might as well do this since we're talking about Zach for a second there. Why don't we hop into his comic book a little bit there? For those that don't know, real quick, Andy here has a buddy that has a couple buddies that does a comic book, and the comic book actually has a character that Andy was the inspiration for. Um, which I've read like the first couple of issues. It's fantastic. I wish I had more time to read more. But yeah, it's really a great comic. It's everything you could want in a comic. There's love, there's action, there's comedy, there's Andy. Like what more could you ask for in a comic book?
Indeed, what more could you ask for? No, it's a fantastic book. I love it. And I'm not just saying that. Uh, it's a friend of mine, Zach. It's his brain baby. His noodle child.
From
And
the guy that brought you Crusher Kringle.
yeah, from the guy that brought you Crusher Kringle comes. It's the comic book itself is called Super with a big exclamation point, and it's really hard to even write it down without including the exclamation point. It's just super.
Yeah.
And he's got a independent comic company called Unlikely Heroes Studios, .com, and he's
Yeah,
been at it for.
and just to cut you off for a second here, that is what you would want to search for because looking up Super with an exclamation point is a pain in the ass. Look up Unlikely Hero Studios.
Yeah, Unlikely Heroes Studios.
Yeah, look that up and you'll more likely find it. Anyway, so how long has he been at it for?
He's been at it for a couple of years now. I remember he had the idea way in the early 2000s, and like all these different like characters, because it's you see that there are the archetypes for some of the hero characters. Like you can look at somebody and go, oh, that's like the Spider-Man analog, and like, oh, that's the Captain America analog, or that's the Superman analog. But like while there's a big portion of it that does seem very spoof-like. Every character is their own character. Like they all have their own personalities and their own traits that really set them apart from it. So it's a love letter to comic books, like superhero comic books as we know it. But it also kind of like pokes it in the ribs a little bit, a little tongue in cheek. There is a ton of pop culture references throughout the books. he has a lot of fun with those, and honestly, I have a lot of fun reading them because it's actually kind of one of those like nerd barometer tests where you're like, how many of them did you get? Like
Yeah.
between famous lines or quotes or like background characters or something like that. There's always something in the books that you can recognize. You go, oh, I know what that is.
One
But
of my favorite
it's
one of my favorite lines, real quick, is your character, Ferocious Fire Ant, and he hops in a car with someone because they're going somewhere, I forget, and he hops in the car, and when he first hops in the car, he looks over at the driver and he says, you know, uh, Bohemian Rhapsody will be played, and you will headbang when appropriate, or something like that. And it was
yeah.
just, it made me crack up. I'm like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, yeah. There's a couple of those moments in there. Like I know that there was like the one character, the Lush, who is kind of like the Hulk,
Yeah,
who's kind of like the Hulk. Except for he's this little like 5'3" like guy with a Jufro, and he the more he drinks, the more powered he becomes. And you would think that he would like Hulk out, like bulge out with muscles and rip through his clothes. And when he drinks alcohol, he does go through a startling metamorphosis, but he still stays the same guy. He's
yeah,
just like his clothes are ripped for like almost no reason at all, and they're like, huh, that wasn't. I thought I was expecting something bigger, and then he just proceeds to beat the shit out of the guy anyway. um, but there's like a moment there where like the heroes are in trouble, and they try to get him involved. Is like Lush, grab a drink. We need you at full Mel Gibson meltdown levels. Yeah, it's a great book. It's a lot of fun. Of course, I love the idea that one of the characters is based off of my charming self. Um, And at first I was just like, well, that's nothing like me. And then I'd take a step back and I'm like, no, that's totally what I would say. Never
Oh
mind.
my god, it's totally like you. Like I first read this book and Andy didn't even have to tell me what character he was based off of. I was like, yep, there he is. That's him. That's
No,
100%
that's
him.
me.
Yeah, it's great. If you like Andy's charm, definitely check this book out. I'm
Uh,
not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That is the only reason I got the book, and it was awesome. I enjoyed it every moment of it. But
yeah,
yeah.
the art is gorgeous.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
The writing is funny and witty. It's a great book to read. So I know that they have the paper or the hardback volumes that gives you issues 1 through 5, and it's for a really good price too. Especially since the first issue is like 52 pages, and I think it's only for like 2.99, a bargain. You
Yeah.
would enjoy every little bit of it. Um, yeah, so show some love for the book for Zach and all the guys over there at Unlikely Hero Studios. They've definitely earned it. Good quality book at unlikelyherostudios.com. Super for all your superhero needs.
And also, one other thing, real quick, for collectors out there, such as myself, they'll sign the book for you. Just make sure you specifically ask them to not put your name on there. But yeah, they will sign the book for you, and if you just ask for it in an email, or whatever, they've done it for me. I thought that was awesome. They don't know who the hell I am, but they did
Yeah,
it for me anyway, and so that was cool. And also, you got to think this. I've seen these guys. Um, I think it was NBC News, which is a very, very high respected, popular news source in our local area. They did a piece on them before. I see these guys are always at Comic Con, like the big ones, like Wizard World in San Diego and stuff like that in New York. So, who knows? Maybe one day this thing could be your next meal ticket, like The Walking Dead is.
yeah. You
So,
never know. And nobody knew what the hell Walking Dead was until they got their own TV show. So who
absolutely,
knows? Super could blow up.
you never know. But yeah. Speaking of blowing up, we're gonna do a smooth transition in here. Go check out Super.
Yeah.
Let's talk football. Let's go straight from comic books to football. What do you think?
I never thought that I would be the kind of person that wanted to hear what happened with the football games, but I'm actually curious to know how much I stacked up from last week.
All right. This is fun. Um,
I do have a lot of fun with this.
I and I get a lot of cool feedback too. I got a little interesting thing that we're gonna do this week. That's gonna be special, and maybe it'll be a reoccurring theme throughout the rest of the football year. We'll see.
Ooh,
Um,
new stuff.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna go through the list I have here. Um, I don't have the teams that played each other. I just have the picks that we did, and I think I can remember, most of the teams they were going against. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna go through who won and who lost, and who we picked, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
So let's get that started. We'll start with the first game, Bills and Jets. Andy picked the Bills. I picked the Jets. The Jets won.
Oh.
1-0 me. The second game, Saints and Giants. Andy picked the Saints. I picked the Giants. This was the only game I cared about, by the way. Just want to throw that out there. The Giants, in fact, won. That's 2-0 me.
Damn those Saints.
The Titans and the Lions. Countdown to Geektown. Andy went with your Titans. I went with the Lions. Andy won.
Yay!
I did not. That is 1-2, 2-1. Whatever you want to.
Get up on them kitty cats.
2-1 me still. Okay. Redskins and Cowboys. Andy went with the Redskins. I went with the Cowboys. The Cowboys won. That is 3-1 Lyle. Okay.
Aw, Trail of Tears.
I mean, it's starting to look like normal, right? Like, nothing out of the ordinary. Loud knows what he's talking about football. Andy, on the other hand, is just picking based off of names. This is how it should be. Texans and Chiefs. Andy picked the Texans. I picked the Chiefs. Texans won. Yay for Andy.
Yeah.
Dolphins and Patriots. We both picked the Dolphins, and the Dolphins lost.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, all right.
Ravens and Browns. We both learned our lessons, and we both picked the Ravens. The Ravens won.
Yay!
Okay.
The superior neutral color.
Panthers and 49ers. Andy picked the Crybaby Panthers. I picked the non-standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, whatever, 49ers. The 49ers lost and the Panthers won, so there's one for Andy.
The 49ers can't handle them large cats.
Right. Steelers and Bengals. Andy picked the Steelers. I picked the Bengals. The Steelers won. There's another one for Andy. Buccaneers and the Cardinals. I wanted to point this out. I have a little note here. Andy picked the Buccaneers. I picked the Cardinals. Andy was saying that the Buccaneers will not fail him. I said, yes, they will. The Cardinals, in fact, won.
Oh.
And I have a side note here that says, by a lot. I think the score, don't quote me, but I think it was like 40-6.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was like by a lot.
You're probably too overconfident from the win against the Falcons.
Okay, and here's where it gets interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Andy picked the Rams, I picked the Seahawks. Andy picked the Falcons, I picked the Raiders. Andy picked the Chargers, I picked the Jaguars. Andy won all three of those games, and I lost all three of those games. Okay?
Damn.
And then to close it out, Andy picked the Broncos, Vikings, and Bears, as well as I did. And we won the games with Broncos and Vikings. We lost the game with the Bears. So, the total, if you were counting, I went 7-9. 7 wins, 9 losses. Andy went 10-6. Somehow, he destroyed me this week. With nothing else other than dumbass arguments on why this creature should defeat this creature in a bout to the death. Somehow, he did it. I don't get it. But here's what I'm going to tell you, people. All you fine folks at home listening, here is what I'm telling you. Challenge him. Challenge Andy to this shit, because it's harder than it looks, and you might get embarrassed if you like football. I'm talking to you, Countdown to Geektown. I'm talking to you, whoever else is out there that's like, oh, I can do that. Lyle's a scrub. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Do it. Email us. Email us, lasidesplitters@gmail.com. Send us your list for week 4's picks, okay? Because we already got one for week 3. So look up week 4. Check out the list. Tell us what your picks are. I'm going to look through them all, and I'm only going to pick one. So if your name doesn't get picked, if you don't get picked and you know you sent one in, try it again for week 5. But I'm only picking one a week. This is the new segment I want to run. Because I am tired of being embarrassed alone. So someone else has to lose to Andy as well. I know
Oh
last night
man.
we tied, but I count that as a loss because I'm a football fan and he is a Magic the Gathering fan. So if you
Low
tie,
blow, damn.
if you tie with something like that, that's considered a loss. Okay, so oh my god, it's just I didn't understand it. I'm like, what? How does any of this make sense?
Well, I mean, they got that octopus that predicts the Super Bowl winners.
Like the Rams and the Seahawks. Who in their right mind would pick the Rams? They lost to the shitty 49ers the week before. And who would not pick the Seahawks? They were doing great the past couple of years. All of a sudden they lose. I have a note next to that. It says, "Don't know how."
Don't know how.
But for some reason, you picked the Rams, and of course I went with the Seahawks, and the Seahawks lost. The Falcons and the Raiders. The Raiders looked good. They were promising all that. Sure, last year you might have picked the Falcons and it would have made sense. But the Falcons looked shitty after the first 6 games last year. And they didn't look too good this year. Somehow, they beat the Raiders. I don't get it. The Texans and the Chiefs. The Texans have nobody anymore. They're terrible. They're terrible.
Oh shit. That's funny.
Yeah, I'm glad you find it funny.
I do. I get a kick out of this.
Oh my god. But anyway, let's move on to what predictions we have for week 3.
Oh please.
Let me pull it up here. I'm actually a little unprepared. Sorry. hmm
And don't be sorry. Be better.
Yeah, seriously. NFL week 3. Here we are. Now I do want to point out, as I've said, there is someone who is going to be joining us in our search for the, wins and such.
Okay.
It's a fan of the week. The same guy that I was just talking about that has all those hours in Guild Wars.
hmm
His name is Rob. He works with me, and I was talking to him today, and I was just like, "Hey, what do you think of the football thing?" Because he listens to the pod, obviously.
hmm
And he goes, I really enjoy that. I think that's pretty cool that you guys do that. And I think it's hysterical that Andy keeps up with you. I'm like, yeah, wait till you hear this week. So I gave him a little preview and I told him what happened. And he was like, you're kidding. And I was like, you think you could beat him? and he just started laughing. He's like, I don't really know much about football. And he's like, yeah, then that means you could probably beat him because neither does he.
So I couldn't tell you one actual NFL star right now.
So he he sent me a list, and I'm actually going to I'm going to take a moment here and just jot down all of his teams that he picked.
Okay.
And then we'll go into picking yours here. So why don't you do like a little song and dance for us or something in the meantime?
Well, so I don't know about a song or a dance. I do know a limerick.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see. In order to do limerick, you also have to be Irish. So let me put on my little Irish hat. Hoity toity toity toy. Blarney. Yeah, no, that's about right. So I once knew a man from Mactrass, whose balls were made of fine brass, and in stormy weather they both clanged together, and sparks flew out of his ass.
What else you got? I like this better than the football topic.
Honestly, I only know the one limerick.
Oh, damn.
I know, right? Like that seems like something I would research. I always love Irish toast though; those are always fun.
Say it again.
Irish toasts,
Like
drinking toasts, you know.
Okay. I thought you meant like the bread.
No, not Irish toast. First of all, it would just be a flat potato, which does not a sandwich make.
Well, it says you.
Yeah, says me. That'd be gross.
Hey.
What would you eat in the middle of it?
Ham, cheese.
Gross.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just have a hunk of ham and a wedge of cheese in between two flat potatoes.
Mm.
Oh my God, you're hard right now, aren't you?
No, no.
Yes,
Yes.
just a rye. You know,
All right.
so unprepared.
I'm not actually. I'm ready to go.
Oh, yay!
We are going to go through. This is week 3 NFL season. Um, I have Rob's answers all inputted in, and now I just need yours, and I'm going to type mine in as well while we're going through yours. So the first game for this week is the Thursday night game, and it is going to be between the Houston Texans at New England Patriots. Who do you got?
Ooh, the Texans versus the Patriots. So they're both essentially the same damn thing. Um, Texans are very patriotic. Of course, no. See, ooh, no, they are seceders for the most part because Texas was always like proud to say, "Oh, we were independent before. Like we don't need America. Blah blah blah. Everything's bigger in Texas. Look at my cowboy hat." Um,
Right, right.
and Patriots are all about America. So I would say that even though Texans used to be independent at some point, they eventually became a part of America, to which I say that the Texans, while are separate from Patriots, eventually will succumb. So I'm going to say the Patriots on that one.
Patriots. Okay. Okay, so next game we have the Ravens and the Jaguars.
Ravens, they are intelligent birds. Mm, Cats always eat birds, though. Well, not always. I mean, sometimes they pick a fight, like a house cat tries to eat an ostrich, and that never ends up too well for the house cat. Um, so, I'm actually going to say that, yeah, because Ravens are pretty intelligent, I think they'll have it above the Jaguar. Plus, I mean, they don't call them a murder for nothing. So, I will say that the Ravens over the Jaguars.
Ravens over the Jaguars. Very nice, very nice. Okay, next up we have the the Washington Redskins at the New York Giants.
Redskins against Giants.
Don't you disappoint me, Andy.
Honestly, I can't make a decent case for the Redskins on this one.
Neither
I
can
mean,
us football analysts.
no, because like I'm trying to size him up, and I mean, it's a giant. The hell's a Redskin gonna do? He can't even reach the scalp. Uh, yeah, like horseback or no, tribes or no, spirituality or no. I think just physically dominating the Giants will send the Redskins off on a to their own little reservation. So I'm gonna say that the Giants are gonna win that one.
Picking Giants. So we learned our lesson from picking against the Giants last week, huh?
I mean, I still think they should have lost against the Saints, but whatever.
The Saints of New Orleans.
Yeah, the thing that doesn't exist.
Right. Okay, next up we have the Detroit Lions playing at the Green Bay Packers.
Lions and Packers.
I'm trying to throw cities in there this time. Maybe that might help a little bit with you. And by help, I mean throw you off a bit from whatever kind of weird, crazy voodoo shit you got going on.
So, switching up the personality of the Packers this week.
Oh.
Because honestly, I didn't consider them too much of uh, much different than the Steelers. Because when it's just us guys. I think in this instance, if you're going with the lion very noble, king of the jungle, but he's got that soft fur and those intimidating teeth, which are useful on the black market. So I would consider Packers at this point just to be the people that takes the lions and shoves them into their cages and ships them off to America to be zoo fodder, where children get cotton candy stuck in their fur and they're sad, miserable lions. So I'm actually going to say that the Packers are going to win against the Lions on this one. They are being shipped off to zoos.
Saying that the Packers are in fact Lion Packers. I got you. Okay. Up next, we have first of all our favorite team this year, the Browns. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
And they're going against the Cleveland Browns versus at Miami Dolphins.
Hmm. This one's actually a bit tricky for me because usually when I think Brown versus Dolphin, I think oil spill. Um, and it's not a fun experience to get your dolphin all covered in oil. Granted, it's lubricant, so all the raping they like to do will actually be able to happen without too much of a problem. They won't be able to see too much with all the oil in the water, but yeah, you gotta have Greenpeace come up to clean in the mess. It's like dish soap all over your dolphins. The blowholes get little bubble things going on. It's adorable, but at the same token, it's a pain in the ass and a mess. So I'd say if up against Browns, Dolphins are gonna have a problem. So I'm gonna say the Browns are gonna win.
I just want to point out something.
Sure, go ahead.
Listening to you, sometimes it's just like, okay, he's obviously taking the Dolphins. Nope, that's the Browns. Nope, that's the Dolphins. Oh, he wants the Browns. I can never figure out where you're going with it sometimes. Next up
That's
we
half the
have,
fun.
yeah, honestly. Next up we have the Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings at the Carolina Panthers.
Vikings against Panthers. I mean, Vikings are good raiding party guys. Like, they kind of go in and pillage and stuff like that, and they are pretty manly, man. I mean, they kind of pride themselves in taking down the worst of the worst animals. And I mean, at this point, this band of Vikings have actually faced the odds and destroyed Titans. So I'm gonna say that Panthers shouldn't be that much of a problem. We're gonna go with the Vikings on this one.
I think. Wait a minute. Hold on a second.
What?
1 second. Um. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Wow. You remember better than I did. All right. Uh. Here's the saying that Andy knows nothing about football. The man remembered a week 1 game. You went with, you went with the Vikings. You said.
Yeah. Vikings over Panthers. I don't think there's any surprises a Panther can give a Viking that's been able to take down a Titan.
Okay. I have in that slot opposite of whatever Andy picks, so I'm picking the Panthers. Okay. Next up, we have the Denver Broncos at the Cincinnati Bengals.
Broncos and Bengals.
We are not going to call into consideration the city at all, are you?
No, that doesn't matter to me.
Okay.
No, not at
I,
all.
I wasn't sure if you were, maybe running out of material and just being like, you know what, the Vikings of Minnesota versus the Panthers of Carolina. So the Panthers,
Actually, wait a minute. I might have something for that. You said the Cincinnati Bengals?
yes.
See, now that's where I'm being thrown off here because if they're Bengals from Cincinnati, that means that they are like the puffed up, domesticated, zoo-ridden Bengals, which aren't real animals per se. I mean, they're probably declawed. They're used to being constantly fed at a certain point of the day. Sure, they hate children, but if you're gonna go up against like a Bronco is a wild, untamed horse. Like, the idea that it is a Bronco is saying that it's not domesticated one bit. And in a battle in the wild, while a Bengal would have an easy time going up against a Bronco, I would say that if they're from Cincinnati, they're kind of like prissy at this point. The Broncos are still going to have an edge, so I'm going to say the Broncos over the Bengals.
I'm going to just throw this out here for a second. I believe it's working, ladies and gentlemen. You said Broncos, okay. Next up, we have the Cardinals and the Bills. I'm sorry, the Arizona Cardinals at the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. So those must have been some hell of a fighter pilots to be able to navigate a tornado. And either that or they just didn't bring the sharks with them to stir up in them tornadoes. So the Bills I'm kind of disappointed with against their thing with the Jets. But
Once again,
Cardinals don't even.
once again, remembering not only the game that they played last week, but the fact that they lost that game last week. You are getting into football more than you think. Carry on.
I'm into this segment more than I'm into football.
Whatever
So
works.
yeah, whatever works. so Cardinals don't even like it when it gets a little bit nippy outside. So the idea that they can't that they're supposed to navigate gale force winds and the Cowboys riding them. Well, Cowboys, I'd say the frontiersmen. There you go, frontiersmen riding said tornadoes. I think that the Cardinals are going to have a bad time navigating the treacherous tornadoes of the Buffalo Bills. So I'm going to say the Buffalo Bills win.
That is me saying, my God, if I don't win this week. Um, Next up, we have the Oakland Raiders at the Tennessee Titans.
Raiders and Titans. Now, Raiders are very different than Vikings. Vikings are calculated. They've have this been here, been there, done that kind of attitude, and the experience to back it up. Manly men doing manly things. Where Raiders are just kind of like, they cause mayhem for the sake of causing mayhem. That sort of shit does not fly with a Titan. They don't care. Like you have to have your shit together to be able to do something about a Titan. So I'm actually going to say the Titans are going to win that one.
Titans are taking it, you say?
Yes.
Alrighty.
There are things that I think can take down a Titan, but the Raiders are not one of them.
Sure, I get it. All right. Next up, I can't wait to hear your answer for this one. We have the Los Angeles Rams at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Rams and Buccaneers. Oh man, how can I choose between my favorites?
That's what I'm wondering.
Okay, so
I'm just gonna throw this out there right now. I have no idea which of these two teams are gonna win. Honestly, no idea. But what I did know is that the Buccaneers have screwed me over more than enough in this thing that we do here, and to where I almost can't stand them just because of this segment. It has no other reason. So I think I'm going against the Buccaneers every week, and I am certainly taking the Rams in this one. Go on.
Okay. So the Rams are very stubborn. Their offense is very one-dimensional. I mean, it is just whatever they have in front of their head. Buccaneers are usually kind of light on their feet. They have the trained animals, and they're overconfident, but I don't think they're arrogantly overconfident. Although there is something to be said about sheer force of will. Ooh, no, actually, as lofty as it would be to go for the Buccaneers, I think the Rams are going to win this one.
I just want to point out.
They don't know when to quit.
I just want to point out that you simply just said the Rams offense is one-dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing to a football conversation I think we've ever had.
Well, I mean, the horns are only on their head. Like,
yeah, regardless
also where they keep their brain.
Regardless of what you actually meant by it, it's still football terminology, and it was impressive. Next up, we have the San Francisco 49ers at the Seattle Seahawks.
49ers aren't even going to notice Seahawks. Unless it's a canary, they don't really have any interest in any other bird. They don't really pay attention to them. Probably wouldn't even consider them a threat until it was too late. Or they're just drunk off of finding their gold. So, I would say just for sheer underestimation, the Seahawks are going to win it over the 49ers.
Seahawks over 49ers, okay. Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Philadelphia Eagles.
Ooh, rumble in PA. Steelers against...
It's working, folks.
Steelers versus the Eagles. Now, the Eagles have been surprising me lately. Although I would think that the irony of the situation is that if somebody were to steal the record from them, and finally hand them a loss this season. Actually, you know what? Looking at it this way, like, Eagles have been making a comeback in this country, environmentally, I would say, to the point where, like, poaching is almost not allowed. Almost not allowed. But, I mean, I know it's not allowed. It's just not really enforced as much. But, with social media being the way it is, people are having a harder time to get away with it.
The answer is
Sorry, sorry. I'm gonna actually say the Eagles are gonna win that one, and it pains me to say that.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say. Um, if in fact the Eagles win that one, and Andy beats me again, both of those things have to take place. Not a tie on either part, because yes, you can tie in football. Some Eagles people don't know that. Anyway, that is an old football reference, not too old. The Eagles had a game a couple years back. Maybe you know the name Donovan McNabb. He used to be the
Yeah, I
quarterback.
know the name.
Yeah, he used to be the quarterback for them. They had a game. It went to overtime, and the time was running out. They could have easily have won the game by scoring, or at least, if not easily have won it, but they were in a position that they could have possibly scored still had they have kept playing. But Donovan McNabb, being the team leader, the quarterback, was slowing down the offense and was like, no, 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 relax. We got, just wait for this quarter to end. It was overtime. Wait for this quarter to end, and we'll get them in the next one. We'll finish it off in the next one. So the time ran out. The referee called the end of the game and said it ended game results in a tie. And in the press conference afterwards, Donovan McNabb goes, I didn't know that was a rule. Didn't know it could end in a tie. Sorry. Anyway,
Wow.
so if in fact we end with you having a better record than me this week, and the Eagles win their game, I'm not doing this anymore. We can still have Andy make his picks, and we can still have people, email me in their picks, and I will gladly compare them and commentate on it and everything. But I will not be sharing my picks again because there's some weird voodoo shit going on with Andy, and I don't appreciate it. Next game, we have the New York Jets at the Kansas City Chiefs.
um, hmm. Hard for me to argue against a fighter jet. Um, Although the fighter jets don't really go anywhere of their own volition, they usually have to have somebody direct them.
Oh God,
I
oh God, all I all I can imagine now is just a bunch of Native American chiefs running up to parked fighter jets, just banging on it with stone hammers and yelling "E Nate Chuck" for some reason.
Ooh, that's good. Um,
Yeah.
so old school. I think that's officially the oldest reference on this podcast. Bravo.
Hey.
Um, yeah, no, I mean, I kind of consider them like commander in chiefs because that's the kind of chief that I envision for this particular matchup.
So, so you got Barack Obama versus the Jets.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of is in charge of the Jets, so
It's a
they
team
kind of
of
go where.
it's a team of Barack Obama, George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Donald Trump.
Oh God, no. Uh, Not
uh,
even with that analogy. Although I will, I'm gonna actually give that game to the Chiefs.
okay, next game.
Uh, oh, Donald Trump.
Hey, 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 none of that. I don't agree or disagree. We are not talking politics on this podcast. God, no.
Fair.
I don't know enough about them to get into them, so no, we're not doing that. Next game is the San Diego Chargers and the Indianapolis Colts.
Chargers against Colts. Between the two, I would think that the Colts would have the superior footwork because they're four-legged.
Right.
So, no matter how much charging Chargers would do, Colts can just charge harder. So I'm going to go with the Colts on that one.
Colts. Okay, next game we have the Chicago Bears at the Dallas Cowboys.
See, I thought that the Bears would have it over the Texans, but that also pleasantly surprised me. So, um, Cowboys are just more specialized Texans. I would think that if the Texans could beat the Bears, then there's no reason that the Cowboys shouldn't either. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys on that one.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I am like looking back to Week One scores and going, the Bears and the Texans played each other. You said you're going Cowboys, yeah?
Yeah, Cowboys on that one.
Okay. And finally, last but not least, the Monday night game is the Atlanta Falcons versus at the New Orleans Saints.
Falcons against the Saints. Oh, those damn New Orleans Saints. They disappoint me so much. Mm, unlike the uh, unlike the last time where they were up against Giants, I kind of thought that their saintliness would have helped soothe the raging hearts of the Giants, but I realized that wait, it's New Orleans Saints. Never mind. But they would be those evangelical kinds that think that they have like they're so holy they actually have the by the book stuff. So the dominion over the animals thing. Um, yeah, I'm actually gonna go with the Saints against the Falcons.
Saints against the Falcons.
Yeah.
Okay. And there we have our list. Let me just run through mine real quick. Um, I'm not even going to act like I know football because apparently I don't. And this first pick, everyone's going to be like, yeah, clearly you don't. But I am taking the Houston Texans over the New England Patriots. Garoppolo, whatever the hell his name is, got
Good
injured.
night.
Yeah, thank you. He got injured last week, and no Brady, no backup to Brady. I don't know what the hell the Patriots can do with a third string quarterback. So I'm going to have to go with the Texans. I know it seems unlikely, but whatever. The Texans are actually better than Patriots because the Texans come from the bigger state, Texas. Whereas, maybe that'll work. Let's find out.
You can't do what I do.
Clearly. I'm taking the Ravens over the Jaguars. I'm taking the Giants over the Redskins, obviously. I'm taking the Packers over the Lions. I'm taking the Dolphins over the Browns, which is different than Andy's as well.
Yeah.
I'm taking the Panthers over the Vikings simply because Andy picked the Vikings and I had no idea. Therefore, I was like, I'm going to pick the opposite of whatever he picks. Taking the Broncos over the Bengals. So is Rob. So is Andy. Oh, speaking of, I got to do Rob's list. Cardinals over the Bills. Titans over the Raiders. Countdown and kickdown. I'm finally doing it. I'm going for the Titans one time. Rams over the Bucks because fuck the Bucks. Seahawks over the 49ers. Steelers over the Eagles because fuck the Eagles. Jets over the Chiefs. Colts over the Chargers. Cowboys over the Bears. I hate to do it, but I have to because the Bears suck ass. And the Falcons over the Saints. And I'm gonna just breeze through Rob's real quick. He's got Pats over Texans, or excuse me, Patriots over Texans, Jaguars over Ravens, Giants over Redskins, Packers over Lions, Browns over Dolphins, Panthers over Vikings, Broncos over Bengals, Cardinals over Bills, Titans over Lions. Were they playing against? Is that right?
Yeah.
No, it's wrong. Shut up. It's the 49 Raiders.
I was trying to throw you off.
It's the Raiders. Bucks against the Rams. He's got Bucks. Fuck him. Seahawks. He's taken over the 49ers. Now you did throw me off. Good job. He's taking the Steelers over the Eagles, the Chiefs over the Jets, the Colts over whoever the Colts are playing, the Chargers, the Cowboys over the Bears, and the Saints over the Falcons. May the best man win. We will see what happens next week. It's very exciting. I'm interested in adding a third person here. That's going to be kind of cool. So, it's something that I tell my wife all the time. But anyway, so that should be fun. We'll see what happens.
We should see what happens.
Yeah, hopefully, the Eagles don't win, and neither does Andy because I'm done.
Can't handle this. You can't handle this.
You're absolutely right. I can't. I will not do it anymore.
He literally can't even.
Accurate.
Yeah.
So that is it for the NFL side of things. And you know what? I had some clickbait news this week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we have time to get into it though.
Really? Has it been that much already?
It has, in fact, been that much. It's been a little over an hour.
Oh wow! Look at that shit.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and call it quits here. And you know what? It was a slow news week this week, folks. I'm not going to reuse these stories because they wouldn't be current anymore, but just to give you an idea of how slow. This one hotel provides framed photos of Jeff Goldblum at guest request.
At guest request?
At the request.
Do I get to pick the movie?
No, just a framed photo of him.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Another one was Kung Fu Master throws playing cards to slice open beer cans.
That sounds like a fun party trick. I want to be able to do that.
Yeah, slow news day. slow news day. And I had to have one from Florida, of course. This one was not slow. Okay, this is my ace in the hole Florida one. I was going to close with this one. It was going to be great, but I'm just going to spill it. Naked Florida man breaks into home, bites resident, and dies.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't even imagine that. I could not even imagine laying there in bed and then
Tell
just
you
like,
what, I'll go through this one real quick because this one's good and I don't want it to go to waste. Um, so a Florida man died early Saturday morning after breaking into a home naked and attacking the residents. Authorities said. James Rains, 40, allegedly broke into an Ocala home around 4:30 a.m. Saturday, according to the Marion County Sheriff's Office. So yes, they were laying in bed. Police reportedly found him being held down in a bedroom, naked and unresponsive, after attacking two women and one man in the home, including biting one of the women. The residents told police that Rains was out of control and said they thought he was under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Yeah, you think?
you
Rains
think?
was, Rains was taken to the hospital and died there, but police have yet to disclose the cause of death. Police who went to Rains' home also found another woman who appeared to be under the influence. She required medical treatment, and that's all we got. So yeah,
He's on that bath salts, man.
yeah, that whole thing.
Yeah, it's like taking some bath salts. You think you're gonna sit down for a nice, cool, relaxing, like, breather after work, and the next thing you know, you're running through the streets naked trying to eat people.
Oh yeah, some can't escape the bite of the streak.
No, 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 they can't.
By the
I
way,
see what you did there.
yeah, the streak is the name of a character from the comic book Super. He can run really really fast as long as he's 100% naked.
Yep, gotta be nude.
It's awesome.
Yeah, because you don't want to be running that fast and breaking the sound barrier with clothes on. They'll burn right through your skin. It's just stupid.
Yeah. So anyway, that is this week's edition of Side Splitters. What are we naming this monstrosity?
Ooh, what are we naming this monstrosity? Could we call it? We spent a lot of time with food.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
How about may I throw my hat into the wing here? To the
I
wing?
mean, as long as you don't eat it, yeah.
Yeah. Um, I would like to propose we call it deep fried upset.
Deep fried upset.
Yes.
Okay, I see what you did there.
So the football games and all that, and you beat me, and yeah.
Well, who am I to deny a man his last request?
Next week's gonna be different, motherfucker.
Oh, okay, all right. No, I have no doubt about that. I mean, shit, I would laugh my ass off if I think the only thing we had like what, maybe 6 or 7 picks in common. So if I were to get like maybe just those 6 or 7 correct, and then you get the rest of them, like that seems about par for the course. That's karma coming back and blowing a whistle in my ear, going, "No, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about."
Actually, we have a lot of common picks.
Really?
Yeah, so much so that here's what I'm going to do. Um, we're gonna initiate a tiebreaker.
Okay.
There's a way that this is done in typical pools. Now, I didn't do this with Rob. I can get one from him tomorrow. We just won't. We just won't worry about it. This will be just for me and Andy. Um, but the way the tiebreaker is done, you need to give me the total amount of points for the Monday night game. So if the game ends up being 16-10, the total amount will be 26. Doesn't matter who scored 16, who scored 10. Obviously, you're going with the Saints, so the Saints in this case would score 16 as opposed to the Falcons scored 10. Okay, so you just need to give me the total score of what is the total of the scores combined.
42.
The answer to everything. Okay. Very nice. I will say 37.
You're closest without going over.
And that's what we're going off of. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. That's Yeah, I guess we do have to kind of go off of that. Well, I mean, if it's 43, obviously you win. If it's 44, you win. Yeah, if it's anything over 42, you win. If it's 40, then you would take that one. If it's 39, I would take that one. Yeah, that's fair. Anything
All
under
right,
37, I take. Anything over 42, you take. And in
all
between
right,
is obvious stuff. Okay, cool.
of course.
Yeah, it sure does. All right, so yeah, that will do it for this week's edition of Side Splitters, aptly titled Deep Fried
Fried,
Upset.
yeah, yeah. Get them fattening calories on you. Tastes so good when Andy's right. Gonna give it to you in the mouth.
Oh, I'm Lyle.
And you better believe I'm Andy.
Have a good week, folks.
Give it to you hard.